Ken, the side chick master. This is a series about the escapades of a Nigerian sugar daddy. He is rich, handsome, and always in a hurry to make women rich. Enjoy the different encounters of Ken with different women, his challenges and what it takes to be a successful womanizer.
Ken was a man of means. At 56, he was surprisingly fit. No belly fats, strong arms, and a firm chest. Something any young man would envy him for. He was a very proud contractor who owned 3 houses in Abuja alone. Married to one of the daughters of a northern emir, Ken, despite being a Muslim, kept more side chicks than a bull in a pen of cows. The side chicks are scattered across all the universities across Nigeria. It was an endless chain of very gorgeous girls. He was popularly referred to as Ken Sugar. Ken believed he had life all figured out, and of course he did. He supplied everything to the Nigerian government: chairs, fertilizer, anti-corruption manuals, which he never read, even police dogs, name it, and Ken provided. Despite his bad tooth and thinning hairline, Ken still believed he was God's special gift to women, especially if they worked at the procurement offices. One evening, Ken had just concluded a supply with a government minister. As he stepped out of the office, he bumped into a young, dark-skinned lady. The bump was so hard that the lady almost fell over. He held her hand to prevent her from falling. They looked at him in disgust, 'cause she almost twisted her ankle. "Sir, please pay attention to where you are walking towards next time. You could have injured me." Ken apologized, trying so much to hide his teeth. He does that every time he meets a woman. He had refused to get his teeth changed despite several calls from his dentist. His fear of needles would not let him go. That was usually Ken's kick-in-the-teeth moment. He jogged to his car parked outside, opened it, and brought out a complimentary card. He scribbled a note on the back end and jogged back into the building. The lady had disappeared into one of the offices, so he began going door to door, searching for her. He had reached the 3rd floor of the building before he saw the girl coming out of the permanent secretary's office. "Hello, it's me again," he said, muffling and hiding his teeth. "Thank God you are not stumbling into me like a few minutes ago." The lady said, "I would prefer to stumble into your heart, though," Ken replied. The lady grimaced in irritation and walked away. He ran after her and slipped his business card into her pants pocket without her knowing, and walked away as if nothing had happened. He got into his car and drove off. He waited endlessly for her call, but it never came. At 9 p.m., he decided to leave his office and go visit Clara, his newest side chick. He walked into a perfume store, and the sleepy attendant recognized him immediately. They exchanged pleasantries, and she held his hand and led him to their latest collections. The Spirit of Kings. "Ken, it's just 1 million naira. You can buy 2 and dash me 1, right?" "How many perfumes have I bought you, you this funny woman?" "Perfumes are never enough for a woman," the shop lady said. "This woman, you would drive me away from this shop with the way you twist my arm to get you perfumes. Your black magic is working on me. That is why I keep coming here and giving you free money. Now you want me to give you 1 million naira. "No, Ken, I just want to smell good and let the sweet smell remind me of you." He hands over his debit card to her, and she inserted it into the POS machine. She inputted the PIN without asking him, as she already knew it. "She even remembers my PIN, something my wife doesn't even know." Well, a man must set aside a woman he can trust with his money. Usually it's not the wife. She handed over the card and the perfume to him while taking the one he bought for her. Immediately Ken zoomed off. She put the perfume back on the rack and transferred the 1 million into her personal account. Ken drove down to one of his many rented apartments in Ikoyi. Stella wasn't expecting him, so she had gone to bed early. She was woken up by a raucous noise at her gate. She didn't pay heed to it and just went back to bed. Meanwhile, Ken had met some boys parked at his gate playing loud music and smoking. He confronted them and about disturbing the peace of the neighbor. Initially, the boys ignored Ken, But when he kept probing and threatening to call the police, the boys decided to let all loose. 3 of them pulled Ken by his shirt and ripped it off. His fit physique bulged through his shirt. This got the boys even angrier. They began beating him until he fell to the ground, with his mouth and nose bleeding. While he was breathing heavily, leaning against his tire, they noticed the takeaway pack of food in his car and took it. They opened it and began eating the chicken right before his eyes. Ken was later rescued by the neighborhood guards. They had made his teeth uglier as they punched 2 out. He got up and banged angrily on Stella's gate. Stella looked through her window and saw Ken's car at the gate. She called out the security man, who had refused to intervene, as he wasn't sure if it was Ken or armed robbers. He helped Stella drag Ken up the stairs and into a bed. The man was really beaten. Stella looked at him and had no clue what to do. She dialed a doctor using a telemedicine app. The doctor was nice enough to attend to him and told him he would rather come see him physically at Clara's place so he could attend to his swollen lips and black eye. A few minutes later, the doctor couldn't make it, but he sent his young assistant. Immediately, Ken saw the beautiful doctor. He stood upright from the bed he was lying. Stella looked at him disgusted and walked away. The doctor checked him physically. For every time she touched his head or arms, he sighed heavily. She treated his injuries and advised him to visit a dentist to fix his teeth and bleeding gums.
"I will be on my way,"
the doctor said.
"Can I see your wife briefly?"
My wife? Ken asked, confused.
"Yes, your wife. The lady that left immediately when I came in."
Ken's face lightened up. Oh, you meant her? Ah, okay. He could Stella out and handed over 2 bundles of money to the doctor, who looked amazed at the cash. She quickly squeezed the bundles inside her scrub and drew Stella to the side.
"Your husband would need dental aid, so please, arrange a visit to the dentist."
Okay, doctor, Stella said, and the door shut after her. The next morning, Ken lay on the couch with his legs crossed like a pampered lion recovering from battle. His lips were still swollen. His nose had dried blood at the corners, but his chest puffed with pride as he replayed the memory of the young female doctor's soft touch. He stretched, winced a little from the pain, and reached for his phone to check if she had sent a message. He was expecting messages from the doctor and the lady he had met at the government office. Then, his phone buzzed. "Did you enjoy your meal, Ken Sugar?" He frowned. "Another admirer?" he mumbled. Another message. "You dropped something in my office and slipped something into my pocket. Not every girl is clueless." He sat up slowly. Another message comes in. "You chased me up 3 floors. Let's see how many steps you can survive next time." Ken blinked. Before he could respond, the door to the apartment creaked open. But Stella was in the kitchen, frying eggs. He turned his head sharply. The doctor walked back in, but this time she wasn't in scrubs. She wore a tight black blouse, jeans, and no smile. Behind her was Tina, the dark-skinned girl from the government office, holding Ken's business card. Behind Tina was the perfume shop lady. And then Clara appeared. And then his real wife. Ken's mouth fell open, exposing the very teeth he always tried to hide. A breeze blew through the slightly open window, as if the gods themselves were saying, "Omo, you're on your own." He stood up, terrified, but nobody spoke. Not a word. They all stood, staring, smiling, almost rehearsed, like a scene. A trap. Ken tried to speak. What is going on here?" Tina stepped forward. "Just a little project we're working on, a kind of group contract." You mean business?" Ken stuttered. The perfume lady smirked. Yes, but this time you're the item being supplied. Ken looked around wildly, reaching for his phone. No network. The doctor pulled a small flash drive from her pocket and held it up. Let's just say your side chick days are about to be televised. The lights flickered, and then the screen went black. To be continued.